Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Um, Unique little schedule right now going on because the ESPYS is going on tonight. So summer league action has been halted. WNBA games have already been played. However, there's some big time news about Kawhi Leonard going home and who the replacement should be. Um, First off, I'm shocked that Joel Embiid isn't on joining Kawhi and going home, knowing the desperation right now the Philadelphia 76ers are facing in terms of being in the finals and knowing landing the biggest fish in the pond this summer, uh, and Joel Embiid having a flat meniscus tear being replaced. I'm shocked he's playing right now. With that being said, Kawhi Leonard uh, Kawhi Leonard goes home, and natural assumption is that Finals MVP Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics was going to be the replacement, and instead Derek White, his teammate, third, not even third string, fourth string guy on the Celtics, uh, it becomes his replacement, and it's created some tension. Jaylen Brown ruffled some feathers because he's bumping heads right now with Nike. I want to remind everyone Jaylen Brown is once a former Kanye West client who had the Donda West marketing group before everything had got stripped from him due to his outburst. Some conspiracy theorists believe that Jaylen Brown and Kyrie are not playing for Team USA due to their devout loyalty to their Muslim religious belief, and the NBA does not want that on their, USA roster. This is what it ultimately boils down to, in my humble opinion. First and foremost, they could have went a lot of different ways. Mikal Bridges, Julius Randle, two Knicks just coincidentally, Shed Holmgren, Miles Turner. Anyone could have been the guy. Jimmy Butler. But ultimately, they elected to go with Derek White, who's off the championship Celtics team. I want to remind everyone the Celtics are up for sale. They announced it at the end of the year. And so ultimately, visibility showcasing their franchise talent across the world, especially with the Saudi influence now in golf and just overall the international adoption going on with currency, with the BRIC system. It behooves the NBA to showcase as many Celtics as possible. With that being said, Jaylen Brown is no stranger to being second fiddle. He was all rookie second team in 2023. He made it to all second team defense, 3-time All Star, Finals MVP. But ultimately, I just think that you know these awards have gotten really tricky in the NBA. They give Rudy Gobert his fourth Defensive Player of the Year award, and then three out of the 10 picks in the NBA draft were Frenchmen. Obviously, the NBA has its own agenda in their own portfolio. Jaylen Brown is further solidified people's suspicion that Nike runs the NBA more than maybe they should. Charles Barkley today said something very interesting about even the streaming battles. Money should not usurp the everyday fan, and we are fragmenting the fan base. And we are also fragmenting the fan base in this instance because when it doesn't make sense, there's a disconnect. Jaylen Brown should have been clearly the guy up next. This notion that, we need role players. Listen, everyone knows there's tiers in the NBA. LeBron walks in the room, that's the Godfather. Steph walks in the room, whether he had a lot of help, whether he's where he really is, he a little overrated at all-time ranking? Sure, but you're going to respect his presence. KD walks in the room, Godfather treatment. This notion that they went out and got a role player. If your ceiling is already low and you miss a couple shots, how much lower can your ceiling get? That's in essence in virtue what happens when you bring in a guy like Derek Brown over a Jaylen Brown, a Derek White over a Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown can play his game into a role. He can adjust his style of play for the sake of international ball. I've never seen in my entire existence of watching international hoops, as Global Utopia, Mr. Global himself, I've never witnessed a player on Team USA not know how to play their role. I've never seen anyone try to say, hey, I'm the face of this team and mess up the shot attempts or play selfish ball. This notion that you have to have role players, I'm a big fan of Bobby Marks, but I didn't quite understand that commentary. There's never been a player on Team USA who you had to tell, hey, can you calm down a little bit with the shot attempts? Guys, everyone is gracious, everyone distributes the ball, and everyone recognizes the echelon and tiers within the NBA circles. Nobody just gets there and all of a sudden doesn't realize that, hey, I'm not Kobe, I'm not LeBron, I'm not, whatever. You know what I mean? That's absurd. And so the more the NBA tries to explain itself, and Grant Hill, chief director of this assembly of USA roster, the more suspicious and awkward it looks. At the end of the day, players know ball and they know where they fit in. If someone on TV can tell you, roles and expectation. I think the guys who watch hundreds and thousands of hours of basketball film know where they fit on the echelon. And he's been playing second fiddle his whole life. So that whole argument is just very null and void to me, and weird that they would sit up here and make it seem like this guy would have a problem being a role player amongst guys who are all-time legendary, statistically great, Mount Rushmore guys. This is the last hurrah for Steph and LeBron and Katie. Who's going to step in between that? Hell, we all knew Kawhi wasn't going to finish. Anyone with half a brain knew that Kawhi wasn't going to really go through with the Olympics. It was just take your pictures, shake hands, kiss babies, because he ultimately is a big part of NBA history, and he's on his way out the league around the same time window like LeBron and like the rest of the big names, Katie and Steph Curry. So ultimately, at the end of the day, the NBA should stop explaining itself. Simply put, they already gave him the Finals MVP, even though we know for the most part, Jason Tatum has been carrying the franchise. He has been the one to shoulder a lot of the mainstream commercial marketing historically, and they still gave it to Jaylen Brown. So they're perfectly within their right to say, hey, you know what? It might not make sense to anyone, but we got our own playbook, and right now what we think is we want to go Derek White for our own reasons, and we're going to leave it at that. And they really have that right to do so. There's plenty of people that could be snubbed. I mean, Jimmy Butler's on his way out. You don't think he deserves to be heralded? 2 out of the last 5 years been to the finals as the Alpha 1 leader, has carried headlines way more than Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown has many years ahead of him on top of that. So to me, it's just kind of weird that like he has to be a part of this one. Like, no, this is the last hurrah. What you want is as many guys who've been a part of the NBA's rich history in the last decade, who are likely on their way out but can still play plenty of basketball in the next 2 to 3 years, who probably will miss the next 4, who will not be a part of the next 4-year Olympic appearance, to get in on this right now. Simple as put, that's it. We're on our last way out. We already got enough to win at the top. We just want to, fill out with certain players the way we want to. But definitely Derek White was a peculiar selection. But ultimately, it didn't have to be Jaylen Brown either, and it's not necessarily got to be a personal attack, even though there's a lot of red flags that can make you wonder what exactly is the NBA's problem. I'll try to do better next time, Utopians. Global, out.